Now today's topic is condensation. It is the process by which water vapors gets converted into droplets of water or ice. Condensation occurs in various ways. First of all, when the water vapor is added to the saturated air, and as the saturated air holds maximum quantity of water vapor, it cannot hold any more moisture beyond its limits. So the excess water vapor gets condensed, and condensation begins only when the air is fully saturated. The favorable conditions for condensation are as follows. First is when the warm air rises upwards and expands, it loses its heat and cools down. Condensation begins when warm air moist air comes in contact with the cold air, and when the air is cooled below the dew point. When the warm moist air mixes with the air blowing over the cold region, the presence of the minute solid particles in the atmosphere like dust, smoke, pollen grains, etc. works as condensation nuclei around which the water vapor condenses. Now there are various forms of condensation. The first is dew, जिसमें ओस बोलते हैं, frost, fog and mist, and of course clouds. Dew is the lowest layer of the air which is in contact with the surface of the air, gets cooled down by terrestrial radiation at winter nights. The air gets saturated and hence turns into condensation. It begins as the droplets of water. Dew सुबह जो ओस दी बूंदा आंदियां हैं उसनूं बोल दिंदे हैं. Condensation in the form of droplets of water known as dew is formed on some solid objects near the ground like leaves, flowers, grass. Dew occurs only when the condensation takes place at a temperature above 0 degrees centigrade. The second is frost. Due to excessive fall in temperature, sometimes the solid objects it becomes so cold that the dew point reaches below the freezing point. Frost is very harmful to the plants. It destroys standing crops, fruit, trees, etc. because the liquid flowing within the leaves freezes. Third is when the fog and mist. When the lower layer of the atmosphere near the ground cools rapidly during the long winter nights, the air above the ground cools by rapid terrestrial radiation and the temperature drops down below the dew point. When the fog is less dense, it is called mist. The visibility in case of mist, it extends up to 2 kilometers. And in case of fog, visibility is less than 1 kilometer. Dense fog is very dangerous to the aviation, navigation, and hinders travel by land, sea, and air. And another form is known as clouds. Cloud is the most common form of condensation. When the hot, moist air rises and reaches the higher altitudes far above the ground, it spreads and loses its heat. Then it cools down. The water vapor present in the air condenses around tiny impurities, dust or smoke called condensation nuclei, without which the cloud cannot form. So small water droplets, microscopic in size or ice crystals, they form floating mass called a cloud. So the cloud are the collection of the countless droplets of water or the ice crystals remain suspended in the atmosphere.